Greetings. I've been shopping again, and this time I've decided to replace this old phone of mine. I like this phone. It's simple, it's basic. It hasn't, I think it does have some internet service, but I can never manage to get it working on here. But it's waterproof, and the thing I like about it is that I have to charge it about every 10 days. But I thought I'd try and update myself and actually join the smartphone revolution. And I've ordered this from China. It's come with one of these, which is going to be taken apart and recycled, of course, because I don't want to run the charger on a 32 amp supply. And it's this, the Lenovo Vibe P1 in gold. So let's take a look at what's inside. Nice, shiny gold. So here's the phone with its protective cover on at the moment, and there are stickers on the back with the IMEI numbers and whatnot. And see at the top, this section here actually snaps out. I'll do a quick round through it, of course. We've got speakers, microphone and whatnot at the bottom. Micro USB charging port. We have the up and down power buttons here. There's a headphone jack and another small hole there. I'm not sure whether that would be another, like a earpiece or something like that. Oh no, there's a earpiece there. So I'm not sure what that is. I have to look in the manual. There's a switch here as well, which apparently puts it into a low power mode, which is something unique about these the P1, or at least a feature which the P1 has. Another feature that the P1 has is a big battery, a 5 amp hour battery. That's why I went for it. That and the fact it does, it supports dual SIMs. So without further ado, I'll go up to the top and pop the cover off, which is a little bit fiddly. This is one thing which is fiddly on these, but fortunately I'm going to do it very often, and that is to pop this top piece off. There we go. That's popped away. Hang on. Oh, right. There's the top piece. So there are some screws here. You can actually undo the thing. There's a slot there for a flash card, and here is a slot for 2 nano SIMs. I've chucked one in from work, which is not activated yet, and I'll put another SIM in there and activate that, and they just slide in the tray there. And the one thing, like I said, it's fortunate that this doesn't have to come off and back on very often, because it is a faff to sort out. It's got these little clips. These clips need to go in first, but these clips need to go in first as well. So I think it goes in. If you snap the back edge in first and then get the top edge in, and finally the corners, and that's in place. Now the battery is very low on this at the moment. Saying 4% remaining. So I'm going to charge this, and I'm going to charge it, and I'm going to see how long it lasts before, because this isn't just going to be an unboxing. I've done the unboxing here, well, it's part of the unboxing, but I'm going to put it through its paces and then follow up with a review. So that'll be added to this video before it goes live. What else is in the box anyway? We have a mobile manual, which is fairly basic manual. It looks fairly well written. I'm not, it's not full-on Chinglish, but I don't think it's the proper Lenovo one either. But I don't know why someone would bother translating the manual when the Lenovo isn't only available, the Vibe P1 isn't only available in China, so I'm sure there will be English language versions of this manual available. It's a thing there with documenting the various accessories and things you can have with it. What else do we got? There's, I think this is a USB on the go adapter, so you can plug this basically would plug into the USB port on the bottom and allow you to connect other USB devices to it. Let me think now. You wouldn't use that for tethering, but for example, if you need to connect, if you connected a wireless keyboard, for example, to this with the little Bluetooth adapter, not the little Bluetooth adapter, the little 2.4 gigahertz adapter, that will plug into there and plug into the bottom. Or if you want to use, of course, memory sticks, you can plug a memory stick into this, plug it into the bottom, and it'll recognize it. So that is, I think, what that is. It's got this little built-in cover as well to protect it. There's the USB cable. I can get the thing apart. There we go. Nice one USB lead. It's this micro B connector. It's not USB-C. And we have, let's check, make sure there's nothing else in the box. No, that's the bottom of the box. And we have this charger. It's a Lenovo branded charger. Interestingly, considering its outputs with a USB port, it'll output 5.2 volts at 2 amps, or 7 volts at 2 amps, or 9 volts at 2 amps, or 12 volts at 2 amps. So I think it depends on the device. And these have got this rocket charge capability. So I assume the phone will tell it, look, you can give me more than 5 volts. You know, give me 10. Yeah, give me 7, or give me 9, or give me 12. And the charger will oblige and ramp up the voltage, higher voltage, faster charging. You get the power through quicker. So there's that, and I think that's the lot for in the box. That's the unboxing done. I need to charge this and come back to it in a few days and see how it performs, and also see what the battery life is. Like I said, my other phone lasts 10 days between charges. Obviously I don't surf the net on that, so I'll see what sort of charge I get with this, with a similar sort of usage. Very interesting so far. The charger, I decided to not use this, instead using a shaver adapter. And the first thing the charger did was blow the fuse. It's one of these little 1 amp jobbies, and it blew that within about a second. So I've replaced it with a 1.6. I wasn't going to just go straight into this and put it onto a 32 amp ring. So I've tried it with a 1.6 amp and it's worked fine. It's charged, and in about an hour and a half it charged the phone up. It was about an hour and a half, 2 hours. I think it's about an hour and a half. And it lasted for 8 days without recharging. That's with my typical use of a phone, which isn't an awful lot. I don't use my mobile phone an awful lot, but my other phone, which isn't even a smartphone, I get about 10 days out of. So to get 8 days out of an octa-core smartphone, I think is pretty bloody impressive. I mean, one of my colleagues in the office reckoned, no, you're lying, you must have charged it up. Nope, I haven't charged it up, and I kept on goading him through the whole week with the ongoing saga of the battery capacity, watching it creep down day by day. I mean, that's still on 100% now. It's been off charge for an hour, and it'll be on. It takes an age to go down. So that's one of the good things about it. Not so good at the moment, for me at least, is coverage. Now you can see here we've got, oops, let's bring it back to life. We've got 3 bars there, that's on O2, this is Voda. The Voda one seems to vary, but my other phone on Voda seemed to vary as well. I got Vodafone for my work SIM. So the SIM that's in there at the moment on O2 is a gift-gaff SIM. My contract O2 SIM is still in my other phone. I've tried it on 3 and the signal around here is crap. I've tried it on EE and the signal around here is crap. But the trouble with my O2 SIM is that the signal around here is 2G only. Now I'd rather have 2G and a signal than 3 or 4G and no signal. So it looks like I'll be sticking with gift-gaff for now. I mean, this is a monthly contract, and you can adjust the contract month on month. So if I just throttle it right back down, I mean, I've got wireless everywhere. I've got, you know, I mean, I've got access to the FON ones, which means I've got access to thousands of access points across Britain, all the, you know, a lot of the BT ones. I've also got access to about 1,000 access points in work, and I've also got access to 3 different access points at home. So I've got no shortage of Wi-Fi. So I'm not really going to be using data that much. So I might as well go on to a gift-gaff SIM with a rolling contract and wait for the signals to get better around here before I go wandering off. But one other thing which would affect the signal is the actual model of phone. Now this is a P1c72, which is designed for the Chinese market. Now the rest of the world one is the P1A42. It's got 2 gig of RAM instead of 3, but as you can see, it supports different frequency bands and would suit the UK a lot better. As you can see, all of the UK bands are picked up by the P1A42, whereas the P1c72 doesn't support all of them. So you may get patchy coverage where another phone would work fine. So I might as well do that and stick with O2 for now and ditch those. And obviously I've got my works Vodafone SIM, which works perfectly well in work because we've got pico cells everywhere. So there's that. It was all well and good. Like I said, I was using it fine. The power switch on the side, it's got a power saver switch on the side. That was non-functional. You'd flick that and it would do nothing. So it's done this 8 days on the standard menu, not even on a power saving mode. More of that in a bit. But what I found, about a week after having it, I tried the Asda SIM, and shortly after I was starting getting these messages where it's trying to install the Amazon shopping app. And it would keep on nagging and nagging and nagging for the Amazon shopping app. I didn't know whether it was that or whether it's some other app. Obviously, I've got a lot of the video apps, but I've got all these on my Fire TV, and that doesn't come up with these nagging, such nagging apps. So ended up wiping it, and it was still doing it. And because I didn't have the apps from unknown sources turned on, it would keep on nagging and nagging and nagging and nagging again to say unlock apps from unknown sources so I can install this dodgy bloody Amazon shopping app. And the only way to get that to go away was to actually install the Amazon shopping app, but not from the app. I installed it from the Google Play Store. But I did a little bit of digging as well and managed to narrow it down to this file. Here you can see it running, and this file is actually in the system. It's not somewhere where you can normally write to it, and you can't uninstall it. It's fixed. So to get rid of that, I ended up upgrading the Android OS itself. Let's try a different finger. There we go. Fingerprint ID, by the way, more on that later. And I ended up, let's look into, is it about phone? I can't remember. System update. There we go. You can actually choose to download the full update pack. Now, it wasn't offering any system updates, even though it wasn't on the latest version. It was still running VIBEUI 2.8. So I downloaded the latest full one, which is a 2.9, and installed that. And that then messes up the Play Store, because the Chinese ones don't normally have the Play Store. So what it was running was like a custom version of the Lenovo ROM, if you like. It was the basic Lenovo stuff plus Google Apps, and then you get these error messages popping up then. So I ended up installing, coming back to the Amazon Fire TV again then, there's a package online where you can actually install the Google Apps on a Fire TV to make some of the apps work properly. There was a little while when Cartoon HD and Megabox would just not work at all if you didn't have Google Apps. They've sorted that now, but that app package actually came in handy because I was able to install these files and it fixed the Play Store. So I was able to install a load of the Google apps and uninstall a lot of Chinese apps. This is just some of them. The page was filled with various Chinese apps that not even a smidgen of English in them. You didn't have a clue. There's one which is similar to an app store, which I think I've still got on here. App Center one, and you can see you haven't got a, unless you understand Chinese, you haven't got a hope in hell. So at least I've got the Play Store now. And speaking of Chinese, most of the apps now, it's running in English. There are a few exceptions. If you try to bring up the city thingamy here, it only knows Chinese ones. It can't find you. Try to get your current location, it can't find you. You're not in China. It doesn't know. It's not going to give you weather for your area, and that's the fixed widget. I'd have to try and find another widget which would replace it. I haven't actually tried finding another widget that would replace it yet. I suppose that's one option. What else was, apart from that, there are a few other places where there are little snippets of Chinese. If I go into settings and then display the font style, you can see it's Chinese. There's only a choice of two. It's a choice of three now. This is new since the update. Obviously, looks like there's more available online. Now, where will it get those from? I don't know. Oh, there we go. There's some of the other ones there. But you can see again, it's all Chinese. So, there's that. There's also, if you go to the lock screen option, which is under settings, lock screen, and then go to theme, you can see again the themes have Chinese names, but it's not the end of the world. You can customize these themes anyway, so it's no big deal. Since the update, it's now got one thing the update has done is it's fixed the switch on the side. If I go back home and flick the switch, it's got this power saving mode where it cuts down a whole load of running stuff. It's got an estimated battery life of 100 hours there. I think, well, we're going to see now. I'm going to do another rundown now to see how long this lasts on the newer version of the operating system. It's still Android 5.1.1, I think, but it's the Lenovo VIBEUI 2.9. And I'm going to do it again without power saving mode on. I don't know whether that was because of the, Christ, I'm dazzling the camera here. I don't know whether that was because of the that Rogue app, which has got one of the some of its features include being able to meddle around with standby, or whether it just wasn't supported properly in VIBEUI 2.8 and now it is. I don't know. But like I said, I'm going to try it again without changing the switch and see how far it runs to run down. It's got my usual apps again. It's got all that stuff. I've got most of the Google apps. It's interesting, by the way, I think it's just an Android 5.1 feature. But if you want to put apps into a folder, all you got to do is if you drag one app over another, it'll create a folder and put them both in, and then you can just drag other ones in, and you can click the name of the folder if you want. If you want to rename it, so you can get rid of some of the stuff you just generally don't want on the screen, or you can put all your apps in there together, or you can just put them on a separate page like I have here. So that's the first update on the phone. We'll have to see now how long the battery lasts again. But before I do that, there's one other thing I should show you. Well, there's two other things actually. There's one which is, if I just clear that out. This is your menu, your initial pull down menu, and there's quite a few things on there. It's got the flashlight, which is quite bright. You can flip GPS on and off. You can take a screenshot there if you want. It's got a, in fact, you can capture part of the screen. I'm not going to. Turn plane mode on and off. Wide touch is, I'm not sure. It's hard to describe really to look at the instructions. It doesn't really make any sense to me, so I'm going to leave that. There's a feedback option there if you have any issues with it. Like I reported the issues with the Chinese text. You can actually take a snapshot and send it off to Lenovo with your bug report, which is nice. Night Eye Pro will dim the screen down so it's not blinding you if you grab the phone in the middle of the night, and I think you can. No, there's no option for changing the times on that. Vibrate mode, you can turn NFC on and off, and these are the other ones as well, which you can shuffle them around and drag them to where you want them to be. So there's that, and the other thing I want to show you is the right way up, right. Where are we? Security and fingerprints. And we put the pin in, and you can program. Now I've named these fingerprints here, but it's basically a case you can pick a finger and add a fingerprint, and what it does is you put your finger on in different places as it asks you. And there we go, it's stored a fingerprint. So if I now go back and lock it, I can either enter a PIN or use my finger. Now I hope that displayed properly on the camera. Anyway, we're still on 100%. We've got 2 bars back on Vodafone now, and like I said, we'll see how long it takes to run down again with my typical usage. Photo quality is pretty good. It's a 13 megapixel sensor. I'm of the opinion, never tend a phone to do a camera's job, and this is better than the ones I've had in the past, but it's not brilliant. I would rather use a camera. Video quality I wasn't very impressed with. You'd think with a 13 megapixel sensor it would be able to use part of that sensor for doing digital zoom. You know, just use a 2 megapixel portion of the image, for example, at full zoom. But no, what this does is it takes your whole sensor, scales down to 2 megapixels, and then zooms from that. So if you use the digital zoom, it can get quite blocky, and it's certainly nowhere near full HD. And the sound quality isn't brilliant when recording either. This is a clip of a recording of a lecture I was at a few weeks back where Jeremy Corbyn was speaking, and as you can hear, the sound, well, you can see the picture is quite grotty with it zoomed in, and the sound, it took a lot of processing to get the sound level back up to an acceptable quality. A lot of noise reduction and hammering up the gain to try and get anything useful out of it. So I think they could have done the video side of things a lot better with this phone. It's been running VIBEUI 2.9 for a little while now, and today it's offered an upgrade to VIBEUI 3.1, which runs with, it's based on Android 6. And this is as far as it gets. This is following the official Lenovo update from the official Lenovo site, all done through the phone, and it bricks itself. So now hopefully I can recover it through USB using unofficial methods. You'll find links to all these files in the video description. This next bit can be a little tricky because if you hold the power button down, it'll just restart itself. So what you've got to do, instead of just holding the power button down, you've got to hold the 3 buttons, and then once this starts up, you let go of the power button, keeping the top 2 held in until it comes up with this. Now, if this is showing up as Chinese, it doesn't matter, because all you're after is the bottom option, which is power off. That will force the phone down. So once it's shut down, what you've got to do is you hold in the volume up button. It'll do nothing. You hold in the volume up and you put in the USB lead. You get that little flick, and that is now in Qualcomm's recovery mode, where QFill can find it. So with QFill launched, you can see it's got its Qualcomm USB port. So click on Browse and pick the MBN file from your ROM folder you created earlier. Then click Download Content and pick your raw program.unsparse.xml followed by patch0.xml. Then click Download and sit back and wait. Once this is done, you'll need to press and hold the power button to shut the phone back off. Once that's done, you can either try starting the phone up again or start it back up into recovery mode, which I had to do. And go to wipe user data and try doing wipe cache, and if that makes no difference, do fuse wipe data and then restart your phone. Your phone should start up as box fresh, really. we're back in business. And this time it thinks it's a P1A42. Albeit with 3 gig of RAM and 16 gig of ROM. Apparently it means the SD card, the NFC no longer works, but the rest of it should, obviously you can see it's booting up, so it looks like it's back from the dead. I'll just have to try and update it now. And already it's offering an update. And another one. And another. And another one. And another one. Big one this time. Interestingly, under the rest of world firmware, it only supports 2 fingerprints. Under the Chinese firmware, it supports 5. Well, that surprised me because the FM radio actually works. I don't think it had the FM radio with the Chinese firmware, but it's working with this. It needs headphones to act as an antenna, but it's a proper FM radio. Well, I might as well wrap this up now before the next version comes out, which is the P1 Pro. With a, as far as I know, the only difference really is that's got a 16 megapixel camera instead of a 13. It took a month for this thing to arrive. It's taken me twice as long to actually do the video, and bits and pieces over the past few weeks. And as you can see, there's other things backing up now. I've got this video, which is going to be finished up probably tonight as well. So to conclude, would I recommend this phone? Not the P1c72 because of the coverage over here. If you're in the States, then probably okay. Obviously abroad, depending on where you live. But in the UK, I'd recommend going for the P1A42 instead. It's got 2 gig of RAM, 32 gig of ROM instead of 16 gig. It's got what else has it got? It's still dual SIM and the micro SD card. I'm going to worry about that. It's still got all those capabilities. I don't think you can get it in gold. There's different colours for those, but at least then you'll work with all the frequency bands over here. Would I recommend that? Yes. For the crazy battery life, it's a full HD screen as well. It's a nice phone. I mean, this is my first smartphone and it's good, and people I've shown, they've gone, oh Christ, that's nice. How much was it? 230 quid. What? It's a very nice phone. It's a very nice phone when Lenovo aren't bricking the phone for you, which is probably another advantage to having the rest of world one instead. I know this isn't the only one which has been bricked. I know of at least one other which had exactly the same issue, and I guided that person through the same repair you saw just now, and she's managed to get hers working, so great. But in conclusion, yes, it's a very good phone. No doubt the P1 Pro will be just as good. It'll have the same battery, slightly better camera, probably just as crap with the video unless they upgrade all that. It'd be interesting to see how well this works when Android 6 comes to this. Obviously, I never saw Android 6 on the Chinese one. Lenovo saw to that. But it'll be interesting to see how well that works. It may be that the NFC will work again. One disadvantage of cross-flashing a P1c72 with a P1A42 is it loses the NFC because it's got different hardware. But it's worked, and I'm very pleased with it. And I'm going to stop waffling now and get this video edited and get this video uploaded. Thank you for watching.